use that, and he can be a menace when used off the gate. But when you look at this performance here from Funtime Bayama last time out, Dexter did not get cute and just used him. And I'm not convinced he needs to be driven like this. I think they took advantage of it, but I was honestly impressed with his effort two back when Andy McCarthy was in the bike, where talking about a sloppy track at Scioto, he had to roll from off of it. He only missed by a length and a quarter. He was able to do that final panel in 26-1. I wonder if the tactics are a little bit different here, and he sits.
Time to find out. It's race number 11. It's the Greg Haston Memorial. Start of a pick 3 there at Harris Hoosier Park, and Michael Chamberlain with the call.
For race 11, the Greg Haston Memorial. Pick 3 on races 11, 12, and 13 starts here. Lou Hill is the 2-5 favorite. Here they come. They are off. Odds-on Outliers starts out for the early lead. Funtime Bayama, Lou Hill, Franco Tyson to the inside, as is Crooked Smile. Captain Archer Ravico moves up outside, but will be caught 3 wide moving to the turn. After that, it's Leave It to Leo, then MM's Bud, and Golden Bay is 9th and last, as the field is on the first turn, led by Odds-on Outlier. That opening quarter, 25-2. They are moving right along here onto the backstretch. Odds-on Outlier. Funtime Bayama. Lou Hill isn't going to wait anymore. Lou Hill moves out from third, moves up into second, and is now right with Odds-on Outlier. After that top trio is Franco Tyson. Crooked Smile is fifth, then Captain Archer Ravico. Next comes Leave It to Leo, then MM's Bud, and the trailer Golden Bay. They're at the half, passing there in 53-4, 28-2 for the second quarter. And it is Lou Hill and Yannick Gingras in front. Odds-on Outliers sitting second. Funtime Bayama now goes to the outside and is going to try to advance from third. Captain Archer Ravico is also on the outside of Franco Tyson. Then it's Crooked Smile and Leave It to Leo. 8th is MM's Bud, 9th is Golden Bay. Field is coming to the top of the stretch, and Lou Hill is in front through 3 quarters in 1:22. Odds-on Outlier and Funtime Bayama are together. Captain Archer Ravico is in the clear and is trying to move up now for Dexter Dunn. It's Lou Hill, Captain Archer Ravico trying to close in. Funtime Bayama between horses. Odds-on Outlier to the inside. Lou Hill in front. There's less than 100 yards to go. Lou Hill, Captain Archer Ravico is surging on the outside. Lou Hill, Captain Archer Ravico, photo! Also a 3-way photo for the show with Funtime Bayama, Leave It to Leo, and MM's Bud, 149 flat.
Well, nothing short of excitement there. Gave a 25-4 opening panel with a couple of levers. Odds-on Outlier, but Funtime Bayama. Lou Hill opted to kind of let the dust settle. He got away third. He moved up the backside. Very close here at the wire. Funtime Bayama, he come first over from third around the far turn. He towed Captain Archiburo second over, and I don't know who got there.
Very close finisher, Jess. Lou Hill, as we say, pace makes the race, and I think he just paid a little bit too quick of a toll. You saw that aggressive move we expected from Yannick Gingras, and it's going to get very tight. That's a bang-bang finish, but in my opinion, it did appear to be the 9, Captain Arturo Vigo, who might have snatched this one from the favorite in the very late stages.
A 149-1 effort to whomever got it, but it was nothing short of excitement there between Lou Hill and Captain Archiburo. We'll wait for the photo. Back to you guys.
Getting plenty of looks here at the photo finish, and Ashley, the 9 was your top pick. They're showing the 9 on the camera. Did you get up there?
I think I did, and I now see him posted. So he was able to get up there. I thought it was a great drive from Dexter Dunn. Post 9, I was a little worried about being all the way on the outside, but he sent the horse slightly off the gate just to kind of clear some of his rivals, and I think that made the difference.
Yeah, really got in the clear there and just was able to get to the heavy favorite in Lou Hill. And, Gabe Pruitt was talking about the pace and just a little bit too quick in some of those internal fractions. And that's stuff you really got to pay attention to as well when you're handicapping in harness.
Yeah, and I think in comparison to, say, the prior race, right? If you looked at this race on paper, there was potential for that to happen. A couple of horses leave the gate well, and sometimes in a race like this where there's a little bit more purse money than, say, the Open, they get aggressive. They try to win the race that way, and you can see a couple of horses sort of paid for doing so.
Captain Arturo Vico at 4-1 as the top pick from Ashley Mayu gets the victory for trainer Ron Burke. And let's talk about Ron Burke, the Burke Brigade. It's FS2. It's America's Day at the Races. Come on back.
The dog days of summer are here. Corgi races have returned to the spa.
And they're off. Sam is out quickly, and he is flying on the outside. Here's the finish.
Saratoga's second annual Corgi Cup. Join us Sunday, 1 Eastern on FS1.
The official Saratoga Barstool Sports Collection is here. Check out the hottest styles of the summer. Shop this limited drop before it's gone. Get yours at shop.naira.com.
Want daily bet suggestions from a team of handicapping professionals? Get in on Wager exclusively on the Naira Bets app. Powered by an AI data model and decades of racing information, Wager analyzes hundreds of data points from past performances to jockey trainer combos, all to calculate winning probability. Wager generates AI bets by combining its model with live odds to identify potential value. Go to nairabets.com/WAIGR and try Wager today.
Every racehorse has a beginning. For Bond Racing Stable, it all begins right here. At Song Hill Thoroughbreds, generations of horsemanship come together to breed, foal, raise, break, and train the thoroughbred athlete. From first steps on the farm, to mornings on the racetrack, to the winner's circle, every horse is cared for like family. Want to be part of Bond Racing? This is where it all starts. Visit Bond Racing Stable today.
Gather your group and head to Saratoga Racecourse this summer. Enjoy a private suite in the 1863 Club or take advantage of flexible seating options in the Trackside Rail Restaurant. Head down the stretch to the Casamigos Spa verandas for casual gatherings of up to 50 guests, or bask in the view of the historic paddock from the Paddock Suite and nearby Surfside Party Deck. The Mia Netto Easy Goer features world-class Prosecco with sparkling views of the backyard. Book your group outing today at naira.com/groups.
America's Day at the Races is brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit nairabets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. Winner Circle time. Hope you did get involved in the app with Ashley's top pick there at 4-1. Captain Arturo Vico, Dexter Dunn for trainer Ron Burke, and they've won plenty of races together. And we're going to take a look at that stretch drive because really had to get to this short price favorite and was able to just get the nose down in time.
He's traveling well, but it just seemed like he was sort of a grinder throughout, Chris, where he is just figuring it out. He's responding to Dexter's cues, and he is going to get up in time. When you're trying to look at the others, if they were really making a move, no one, in my opinion, really was. Yes, he had some horses from towards the back that did try to roll late in here. MMS Bud was one of them. I could see the 6 was getting involved late. Leave It to Leah, who is going to round out the top 3, but it really came down to that position entering the turn and just how it played out in the end. So the favorite, Lou Hill, at 1-5, second best.
There it is, 9-3, 6-5. Your full order finish there in race number 11. Captain Arturo Vico, 1040 on the win end for Dexter Dunn. Race number 12, it's the Rock and Nola 1 mile. It's going to be a $100,000 purse, and an exciting race coming up here because it's going to be a field of 7 and kind of a unique new look at a different race here at Hoosier Park.
Trying to put some spotlight here on the pacing fillies and mares. So a nice grade 3 here, $100,000 is the purse. And you mentioned it earlier when we sort of kicked off the show here about maybe the progression from 3 to 4. I think that is really interesting in here with the likes of Rodeo Drive Deo as well as the Last Martini. Very strong 3-year-olds. I don't think we've seen their best yet at 4.
Yeah, whether they be 3, 4, or even a 7-year-old gelding like By the Missile, trainer Ron Burke and his whole operation, they have just been so impressive, and I've kind of gotten to know them more as I've been able to sit on some of these shows. But the 2023 Breeders' Crown Open Pace, there's By the Missile with that impressive performance, and you know, Ron Burke, he's won everything, but he just continues to have really top-notch horses at the top of their game.
Some of my favorites, such as Foiled Again, Sweet Lou, now in training. Big fan of Lua Deepa, and By the Missile certainly looks live tonight in the Dan Patch, a horse that we saw the talent, a Breeders' Crown winner, looking there at Hoosier back in 2023's almost made $2.7 million in purse earnings, but He hasn't always fired his best races. I do feel like sometimes he has been compromised by post, but recently the form is quite strong in those last 2 and really 3 of his last 4. And a lot has to do with Ronnie Burke and just the way that he trains these horses, has the confidence in them. I think sometimes he swings because he knows horses might not have their best race this week, but he knows it's right around the corner.
Yeah, really talk about the sires and family operations, the Burke Brigade. It's a team effort for sure there for trainer Ron Burke, and approaching $400 million in career earnings, and I'm sure won't be too long until they do get there. But we've got that 12th race coming up. That's going to be the Rock and Nola, and you know, we continue to watch what we've seen today, and we're going into some of the races that we're going to see later on in the calendar, I should say. And the Breeders' Crown, it's just around the corner. It's coming up, and Ron Burke's going to have a big say in that one.
I want to know how many horses he'll have entered in the Breeders' Crown. I wish I could make a wager on that. It probably would lose.
You definitely
but
can make a wager
fun,
on
right?
it. Yeah, I mean, if you threw out a number, what would you say?
I don't know. Definitely double digits, easily. He'll be locked and loaded. And, you know, I think when you look at sort of the timing of everything, Breeders' Crown right around the corner in October, still so many ways to sort of target your spots going into that day.
Yeah, that's going to be October 23rd and 24th there at Scioto Downs, of course, the Breeders' Crown. It's going to be kind of that penultimate championship type atmosphere, and it's fun. You talk about the thoroughbred side and the harness side because you're dialed in across both, right? Like, that's a lot of races to handicap.
And they're not very far apart either. October, early November. It gets a little tricky. I feel like I should take a vacation and just study.
All right. Let's talk about some of those 3-year-olds and some of those exciting 3-year-olds coming up here, as we're going to talk about them in just a moment with Gabe and Jess.
Yes, Gabe, the Breeders' Crown coming up just, it feels like a couple of short months away with the way that the summer is rolling on just right across the Ohio-Indiana state borderline there at Scioto Downs. The first time that they're going to host the Breeders' Crown there. I know they're going to do a phenomenal job, but there's a lot of races that we look forward to each and every year, including the Glamour Boy division. And some years it's dominant, one horse wins them all, but the last several years, last couple of years anyways, there's been a lot of really nice horses, and they've all taken a very big step in their career at the age of 3. They've all won one of those big signature races, and that's the case for this year. We saw early on in the year, Bojangles was undefeated up until his North America Cup elimination, and then Odds on Mr. Mamba won the North America Cup. Brandon Boulevard won the Pace. Al Papi won the Adios over at the Meadows, and then of course we've got Melillo in tomorrow night. And then, of course, the horse that won on Hambletonian Day is his Sweet Love and Lou. He got his signature win as well. So it's just a wide open event for the 3-year-olds.
Really is. And we're going to take a look back at some of these highlights so far this season. We've got Brandon Boulevard here. The Meadowlands Pace, and Brandon Boulevard was the favorite here. You're going to see Dexter Dunn get very aggressive at the front end, and did go to work here on him. He did have to ask him here the front end, Jess, as you see the field start to swarm in here on Brandon Boulevard. But, this is the heart of a champion here. He's going to see him just up to the task, respond here under urging, well over 800,000 on the line there to one of the biggest nights at the Big M.
Yeah, and of course, he put up a game effort. It was close on the line, like you said, but I thought a couple of horses in that race that were poised for big efforts. As you can see, the 5-horse Ronnie Wren with Melillo, the 8-horse Al Papi with the Yannick Gingras. Al Papi got his signature event over at the Adios. We'll talk about in a second. But Brandon Boulevard, all class for the Andrew Harris connections there. Of course, the Punisher 11 stables. They've put a lot of money into the business. Nice to see them get a couple of really nice horses.
Put a lot of money to Brandon Boulevard. I think as a yearling, he was well over 400,000, but that seems like a bargain at this point. And he's one right there near the top of the ranks, and some of the others you mentioned as well.
And then here's the North America Cup, Gabe. A lot of questions to be had and a lot of answers. You'll see Brandon Boulevard talk about the monstrous effort he put up in the Meadowlands Pace. What about his Elim and final? This is the North America Cup final. Brandon Boulevard come first over into a Bojangles, who took things into his own hands. And odds on Mr. Mamba, you know what he decided to do? Shake hands with the fans, but he got up in time. The Indiana sensation there, and he proved that he could go with the best of the best.
Yeah, it's a heck of a slugfest to the finish. He was drifting, but right on by there. Odds of Mr. Mamba. Interesting, Jess, Odds of Mr. Mamba stabled right on the backstretch here at Hoosier Park. He's just a little guy. That's sort of one of the
littlest thing you ever did see.
Yeah, that's one of the only issues there. He's got a couple of big heats, and some would question how's he going to hold up throughout a tough campaign, particularly particularly when you get into the late fall there with the Breeders' Crown.
And they went to the Cane Pace, they went to the Adios, and they went to the Cane Pace, of course. And I thought Al Papi raced very well in that Adios. I don't know when we'll see him next, but Stablemate Malillo. Tomorrow night at Northfield Park, they have the Carl Milstein Memorial. 9 of the very nice Pacers are going to be, 3-year-old Pacers are going to be on tap there, and we'll see Malillo.
Yeah, we're going to see it, but he's going to be a heavy favorite. He deserves a signature wet. He's been knocking on the door. We saw the Badlands Pace and a couple of the other big races there as well. And you're going to take a look there as well, Jess, at some of the shows upcoming here, the hardest racing programs in the near future on America's Day at the Races.
Plenty of coverage left to come tonight and throughout the year. We'll send it back to the guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and we do hope our audience does join us there for all the great racing still left to come throughout the fall season and as we wrap up the year in the sport overall here and we start getting some champions. And one quick question, Ashley, before we kind of take a look at some of the later races. When we were just talking about the Breeders' Crown and from a handicapping, because we see so many races in their past performances leading up to some of these big races, is it a little tougher to kind of pick which one you want to say is very similar to what they could perform on a Breeders' Crown night or a big night? Is it harder to kind of figure out that puzzle in harness racing?
I think so, and I think to what Jess and Gabe were just talking about, if you were going into the North America Cup mid-June in terms of the horses, odds on Mr. Mamba and Bojangles, and the complexion has changed with Brandon Boulevard, with his big win, then moving to the Cane Pace just a week ago. I feel like the 3-year-old Pacers, it's really tough to know who's going to be at their best come Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the toughest part for me, and looking at some of those past performances, it's just like, which race do you really think is going to be similar to their peak performance on that day? All right, we got another race coming up, and it's paddock time. It's race number 12. It's the Rockin' Nola, of course, as we were talking about. A new race here at Harris Hoosier Park, and really trying to recognize the filly and mares division, the 3-year-olds and up, and it's going to be a $100,000 purse. So 7 are signed on here in race number 12, Ashley.
We do have the favorite on the outside, the 7, 3 times better for the Brett Pelling operation. Fresh off a win down at the Red Mile. Prior to that was 3rd best. Didn't go off favored there at Scioto. Why? Mickey and Minnie was one of the rivals that she had to tackle that day, but prior to that had a very nice kind of win streak with one little blemish in between. So she's been very strong. It is worth noting she is back on Lasix tonight.
And one thing you will notice as you've followed us all throughout the season, the fans and bettors watching us here on FS2 and America's Day at the Races, when Dexter Dunn starts getting that hot hand, he starts winning races in bunches, and I think the bettors have gotten involved here at 3 to 5. It's almost post-parade time here for race number 12, and but really a big nod to Hoosier Park here with, not only recognizing the fillies and mares and kind of trying to take a look at how that division would be able to come into a night like Dan Patch night, and also the money's there, a purse, $100,000.
The money certainly is, and I think for some of the horses that might be closer to Hoosier, they can dip their toes in the stakes ranks. For other horses that we talked about as 3-year-olds, they bloomed and they blossomed. They haven't been able to do it at 4. You almost feel like this is a good spot to potentially get back on track, gain some confidence, and then plan out the rest of the summer and the fall.
All right, the horses are coming onto the track. Don't forget, still a $300,000 purse is going to be coming up in race number 13, the Grade 1 Dan Patch. Looking forward to all those veteran-type horses, and that's going to be a really fun race. 11 of them are going to go Postford there, and a fun race to watch, but it's a tough handicapping puzzle as well. Because do you think we'll see a heavy favorite in the Dan Patch, like a real heavy favorite?
It's tough for me to say when I keep on going back through it. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see what we just saw in race 11, right, where we did have such a heavy favorite. I think there will be one that's clearly the favorite, but I'm not thinking 2 to 5 like we see right now.
Plus, we just made all that money on Captain Arturo Vico there towards the outside. All right, horses are on the track. It is the Rockin' Nola once again. It's a Grade 3. It's $100,000. It's Yannick Gingras, the 1 at 6 to 1.
Still think she can get back on track, and I do think she's an interesting horse here on a price of 6 to 1, but she's been a little inconsistent with her tactics in terms of what they've wanted to do with her. I think they're trying to figure out what the best move is. The 2 Good As You, a big price on the board. Todd McCarthy in the bike, 3rd best just a week ago.
Yeah, last seen in the Mohegan Cup, and that's going to be the last Martini. 9 to 2 is the 3 for Doug McNair, and we're going to take a look at the 4 here next. It's going to be Lion Eyes and Joey Putnam. He's got a big long shot here right in the middle, but 34 to 1. would be a surprise here off of that 7th last time, and we'll see how they perform.
The 5 Can't Touch These up next off back-to-back wins in the Philly and Mare Open. Pretty nice win in that most recent effort, and even 2-back I thought was maybe post-compromise. The 6 Champagne Room here for Ronnie Burke, Ronnie Wren Jr. in the bike tonight. She'll need to do a little bit better.
2-5 to the outside. It's Brett Pelling. It's going to be 3 times better. A very deserving favorite here. Very short price, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the one where you start trying to find value. This is the start of a pick 4, though. It's going to be a $30,000 guaranteed pool in the pick 4 starting right here in race number 12. It's the Rock and Nola. It's a field of 7. And I think in just a moment, yes, we are. We're going to send it down to Gabe and Jess and talk about that pick 4.
Thanks so much, guys. A $30,000 guaranteed pool here for this pick 4 sequence. Gabe, a very competitive sequence as well. Lots of nice horses across the sequence. Take us through a ticket.
Well, I'm going to put in a $12 play, Jess. I am going to use the favorite here the first leg, 3 times better. I do think this is the mare to beat. We see her on the track there for driver Dexter Dunn. But I'm also going to toss in the 6 Champagne Room. I mean, this mare getting no respect whatsoever. I think she's got an upset bid in here. 4-year-olds made nearly $400,000. We're 2 deep there. Of course, the big dance of the night, that's the $300,000 Dan Patch. That's going to be the second leg of this pick 4. Going to use By the Missile, Dandy Ideal, and Captain Optimistic, who has been about to tear down the paddock here behind us. He is revved up, ready to go tonight for Trader Dancy Tactor. And then we'll try and close it out. 2 deep race 14. I'll use Tell Me About It, 7-2 there. And also like a good price, the 8 Shamwell. He's 12-1 on the morning line. I think he'll be aggressively handled in that spot tonight. That's one where I think we can beat a couple of the favorites. And then in the nightcap to close out this big $30,000 guarantee, I'm going to use a couple of the logicals, and the 6 Chandler Bing and the 8 Combustion. So a $12 play overall for me in the late pick 4.
I'm a little bit more indecisive than Gabe. I think I spend about $36. I'll use 3 horses in here. I do like 3 times better. I think she's the one to beat, Gabe, but I like how a couple of these other horses are coming into this race, including Can't Touch These from post 5, getting 6-1 on her. And I think if Rodeo Drive Deo is on her game and forwardly placed, she could be a horse to reckon with. Race 13, the signature event of the card. I'm going to use 4 horses. By the Missile, Coach Stefanos. If they put the hot and heavy up front and the pace is quick, I think he can come from the clouds. Captain Optimistic's coming into the race in good form, and so is Prince Hal Hanover, and he showed us a little bit of different dynamic in the last couple of starts. Race 14, the horse that starts from the rail and totally outside. Tell Me About It. Alvin Miller already has a win on the night with the Son of Tell It Like It Is, and this guy is just as classy as they come. And I'm also going to use the 9 Blaze On N for Tyler George. This one's riding a 3-race win streak. And close out my ticket, I really like Steely Knife in this spot. 3 bold numbers in a row. He gets post 2 to work with. I also threw on Naturally Gifted from post 5 and Combustion from post 8, coming off of a win. He recently added Lasix. I think he's continuing to take steps in the right direction. A $36 play for me, Gabe, but it all comes back to this leg, the first leg of the pick 4, and that is the new addition of the Rock and Nola. A very nice field of 7 here. 1-2 on 3 times better for Brett Pelling. She's 7 of 9 so far in her 4-year-old campaign.
Yeah, she's been very good, and there's no question that she deserves to be the favorite. She's been almost $250,000 this year at the age of 4. We always talk about how tough of a transition it is because horses, when they're 2, they race against 2-year-olds. When they're 3, they race against 3-year-olds. When you move up to 4, you race against some 4-year-old company, but you do start to step up and face some older veteran mares as well. And that is the case tonight. She's got at least 1 over 4 here in this field with 1 5-year-old, the 4 Lion Eyes. A little bit of a young group here, but it's eligible to any age mares. And she is the one to beat here at 1-2. But again, just an awfully short price here to swallow on 3 times better. And we'll see. I mean, a big money in the line here. It's a grade 3, 6 figures. Dex is going to be aggressive, I think, from that outside post, but we'll have to see just how much of a toll that could take if she does leave this gate here, and what these fractions are if she's able to polish it off.
What about Can't Touch These? Roger Welch does the training. John DeLong, regular pilot, of course, in the bike. 4 of 8 so far. She's a 4-year-old this season, a daughter of J.K. Enavanera. 11 of 21 lifetime. She's been knocking with the best of the best here in the state of Indiana. I see a line on the program, 149-2, 25-4. She picked him up and laid him down from post 8.
She's an incredible mare, and here's how confident they are in the 5 Can't Touch These. Now, she did not make the sustaining payments to be eligible here to the first ever Rock and Nola. So if that's the case, if you did not make the payments way back in March and April, you had to put up a lofty 5-figure sum. It was $10,000. That's how confident the connections are in Can't Touch These and her ability here at Hoosier Park. They put up $10,000 here to race in this $100,000 event. So I thought that told you a lot. She's coming off back-to-back wins. She's a horse for the course, Jess. 21 out of 37 in her career, all 21 wins right here at Hoosier Park.
The clear second choice is the 3, The Last Martini, still looking for that first win in her 4-year-old season. She was a dead heat winner with Mickey and Minnie as the age of 3 in the Breeders' Crown. I didn't love the way she raced in the Cleopatra, I'm not going to lie. I thought she was way flat. I know she was 22-1 on the board, but she showed that she could race with some of the really top, nice mares across North America. I thought she was much better in that Mohegan Cup Invitational, 26-4. She couldn't quite get to the leader on Reasonable and Louis Girl, front page story, but she just got beat a length there, 26-4. Like I said, good post and a regular pilot that drove her through most of her 3-year-old campaign. Doug McNair might be the key.
Yeah, it could be. I just think 3-1's a little bit over bet in this spot, Jess, because I'm like you. I thought just a little bit dull last time. We're talking about a filly that made over $650,000 as a 3-year-old. Just talked about how tough that transition can be to 4. I think this is a perfect example here with the 3, The Last Martini. 0 for 7 so far this year. She's made just over 70 grand, so nothing to sneeze at, but not the type of season that we're accustomed to from her. Typically, I think a horse is probably going to do her best work from off the pace. She'll need a little bit of a live pace to chase here, and she'll be looking to make last call there. Last Martini there, 5-2. I just think a little bit over bet right now.
You like a bomb underneath, 16-1 on Champagne Room. I took a long look at this one as well, looking for the second win of her 4-year-old season. She's 16-1 on the board. Hopefully she can score for you in the pick 4. We'll send it back to the desk for final thoughts before race 12.
Thanks so much, Justin. Yeah, taking a look at race number 12, and you're seeing the price continue to go down, and kind of surprising Gabe and Jess a little bit on the 3 at 5-2, The Last Martini. We're taking a look at the 5 and the 7 right now, but Gabe kind of was talking me into the 5 a little bit. Can't touch these, John DeLong, and when you pay when he says that 5-figure sum, I mean, you're paying to get involved here at a $100,000 purse. I think that's positive signs.
A lot of money to put on the line, and I think for her, obviously, it's sort of the home field advantage, right?
Yeah.
She loves this track, the configuration. We talk about the long stretch, the 7As. It has just worked for her time and time again, and you can see kind of comparing her 2 races in July, just the difference of trip based on the post. But that might be a little bit of a talking point as well. We didn't see her for a couple of weeks, right? We haven't seen her. We saw her on the 18th of July, the 25th, and then has been on the shelf. So something to factor in, but I think the value is certainly there. I agree with both Jess and Gabe with The Last Martini, especially Gabe's point about this price is too short. Not only was she stellar as a 3-year-old, she was very good as a 2-year-old, even in the Breeders' Crown. So I don't like her at 3-1. Obviously, the talent has been there in the past, but I just don't like her efforts to date. She needs to do a lot more. And the same thing could be said about the 1 Rodeo Drive Deo, but I think there's more upside. Just touched upon it. Maybe with the inside, Yannick will be a little bit more aggressive. She has a win here. To me, 5-1's fair. It's the difference between her and The Last Martini. I guess it's value is in the eye of the beholder. As the 1 floats up, I like it a little bit more.
Yeah, trainer Ron Burke, already with a victory earlier on the card, just saw a victory there, and Yannick Gingras, they're going to team up, and you're going to get 6-1. I mean, that's tremendous value from a wagering standpoint. But to the outside, 3 times better, does seem like an imposing favorite. It warrants favoritism. She warrants favoritism at the 3-5.
She does. It's short, but she might be the now horse. I think other horses have shown they can take the steps forward, so I look elsewhere just for the value.
I love it. It's the Rockin' Nola. It's Michael Chamberlain. It's a $100,000 purse. It's the 12th at Harris. Hoosier Park.
$30,000 guaranteed pick 4 on races 12 through 15. The 3-5 favorite is 3 times better. Horses now turning into the stretch. Here they come. They are off. The Last Martini to the inside Rodeo Drive Deo. Can't touch these, moves up, as does 3 times better. Then it's Good As You 5th. Lion Eyes is 6th, and Champagne Room is the early trailer. The field moving on to the first turn. And the leader is Rodeo Drive Deo, but 3 times better is advancing on the outside of the Last Martini as the field posts a quarter of 26-4. Onto the backstretch they go, and 3 times better now takes the lead. Rodeo Drive Deo is back to 2nd, followed by the Last Martini. Next is Can't Touch These, then Good As You is 5th, 6th is Lion Eyes. Champagne Room is the trailer. Single file approaching the half-mile pole. 3 times better. And Dexter Dunn leading the way as they approach that half-mile pole. Rodeo Drive Deo, then 2 back to the last Martini. That opening half, 55 seconds. 3 times better by a length over Rodeo Drive Deo. The last Martini comes next, and then Can't Touch These. 5th is Good As You, followed by Lion Eyes, and Champagne Room remains the trailer midway around the second turn. 3 times better, Rodeo Drive Deo. And then the last Martini is 3rd. Can't Touch These, trying to move up to the outside as they now enter the stretch. 3 quarters in 1:22 and 3, 27 and 3 third quarter, 3 times better in front. Rodeo Drive Deo trying to keep pace. Can't Touch These to the outside of the last Martini. Champagne Room is trying to move up here on the far outside. 3 times better, still by 2. Rodeo Drive Deo is trying to close in. Can't Touch These. And then Champagne Room. 3 times better is winner number 3 for Dexter Dunn tonight. Rodeo Drive Deo was second. Can't Touch These and Champagne Room in 1:49 and 1.
You heard track announcer Michael Chamberlain talk about Dexter Dunn, his 3rd victory on the evening with 3 times better. The favorite does get the job done, and Rodeo Drive Deo looked to maybe challenge, but the favorite pulls away late.
No, and it looked like Yannick was trying to figure out, would the inside open, would he go outward? It didn't matter. I don't think he had enough horsepower under, and I should say in front of him. I almost said underneath him, but it did look a little bit to me, Chris, that Dexter really had to be aggressive, because for a moment it did look like he might get parked into the first turn, but he was able to clear. He decided he wanted to go and then took the lead over there from Yannick and stayed in front. So the betting money was right. Ended up going off at 1-2 as the final odds.
Yeah, and it's very important that you're pointing that out. In that first opening quarter, you can kind of see the composure from Dexter Dunn. He's never going to panic in those situations with all the skill set and the quality horses in front, but worked out the right trip. And then do you think asserted, took the lead, or just really had to make the move at that point in that opening quarter?
I think he probably thought it was the best for the mare and then made the decision from there based on what she's done. It's sort of her MO to this point, where she doesn't need the lead, say, right at, first call in the race, but she wants to get it typically at least before the half. So I think it worked out well that he had post 7 and he didn't have, say, post 9. And when you have that sort of horse, you can't wait to make the decision, right? Because if you wait and you don't make the move right away, she probably does get parked.
It was Dexter Dunn getting the job done there. And let's go trackside. Jessica Otten's got an interview with the winning driver.
Thanks, guys. Winning driver Dexter Dunn, 3 times better. First and foremost, Dex, what a classy little girl she is.
She's all class. Yeah, she's a dream to sit behind, and to see her in the paddock, she's so sweet.
She's really taken the step from 3 to 4 with professionalism. Let's talk about that trip tonight. Looked like you wanted to take things into your own hand. You had to make a decision there in the first turn, though, because there was a couple levers to your inside.
There was a couple of levers, and then the pace sort of really backed off. So, I decided to keep going forward with her. I know she can stay. I know she can sprint. So, once we got the front, we had pretty good sectionals down the back there, and she's so fast at the end of it, Jess.
The long Hoosier Park stretch can usually tire one out, but she looked like she really just responded there late.
Yeah, she's a good horse, and she knows her job, and doesn't matter what track you take her to, she knows what to do.
Nice job.
Thank you.
There you have it, 3 times better Dexter Dunn. Brett Pelling, they're going to team up in the inaugural Rockin' Nola. Back to you guys.
And it was Dexter Dunn with the driving duties, 3 times better, and he continues to have that hot hand. He's got 3 victories on the night. Will it continue for hot riding Dexter Dunn off the Hamiltonian victory? He's on a roll.
He is on a roll, and these nights are not, I guess, a feeling of strangeness to him. I mean, when he gets hot, he finds the winner's circle. It doesn't matter if it's the grade 1s in harness or the non-winners of 4,000. He will drive those as well and find the winner's circle. So a perfect drive tonight.
There is the winner of the Rockin' Nola, 3 times better. When you have a grade 1 race, you got to have a great horse, of course. It's Dan Patch, champion harness horse of the world. We got plenty more with the great Dan Patch here on FS2, America's Day at the Races.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, Play live money betting contests and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. NYRA Bets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and you're seeing the beautiful paddock area here at Saratoga Racecourse. Of course, myself and analyst Ashley Mayu is going to be sitting right next to me throughout the next couple races. We've got the Dan Patch coming up, but we got a winner's circle. It's from the Rock'n'Nola, and of course the 7, Dexter Dunn. We're going to see the stretch, but the beginning of the race in that opening quarter really told us a lot, but here is the stretch run here for 3 times better.
This told us a lot as well about how well she could race on this long stretch and if she could hold up. And Dexter, in that post-race interview with Jess, was obviously very confident in her abilities, that she does have the gate speed. You can call upon her, but she also has the late turn of foot as well. And she just seems to be getting better with each of her starts. She's taken that step forward from 3 to 4. I mean, you compare her now, she has 8 wins this year. She won 7 last year. Last year going almost 140 in purse earnings, and entering tonight almost 250. She adds to it there with a victory in the Grade 3 Rock'n'Nola. And the bettors, they were correct, 1 to 2. And they were happy, I guess, that they got the win here. It's not necessarily going to spice up that pick 4 too much.
All right, coming up will be race number 13. It's the Dan Patch, of course. It's 1 mile. It's our feature race on the evening, $300,000. And we were wondering about favoritism, and you were right. I mean, you were talking about couldn't really see who's going to be an overwhelming favorite. It seems wide open because we've seen these hard-knocking veterans that have earned a lot of money, a field of 11. And right now, favoritism, lukewarm, Dandy Ideal, and Captain Optimistic.
And I think this is still going to sort itself out a little bit here. I think someone will maybe go off and around the 2 to 1 odds. I think off odds will be our favorite in here. I don't know who it's going to be though. And you know, By the Missile with 6 to 1 on the morning line. We just saw moments ago 7 to 2 on the board. I'm not shocked by that, Chris. I thought this horse was going to be respected off the last 2.
Well, if you're going to have a grade 1, $300,000 and represent Indiana, why not go to the birthplace of Dan Patch in Oxford, Indiana. When you take a look at this horse's efforts, and it was a while back, but this is a legendary Indiana pacing colt.
Absolutely. Never lost a race. He did lose 2 heats in his career, and there's, I guess, controversy of maybe why he lost those heats, but he was undefeated. And talk about miles. I think in the sport now we talk about very speedy times, but for his time, the miles that he put down, they were huge. You can see they called him the pacing king.
And you see some of the stats there for the horse that they called the Black Whirlwind, and right there in Indiana, passed in 1916, but look at that record, 73, 73, 0, 0. And so that means you're undefeated. That's a very impressive record. And the speed record, U.S. and Canadian Hall of Fame member. If you're going to name a Grade 1 race after a horse, this is the name. And the Dan Patch, it promises to be a big race and named after a great horse. Great horse.
Great horse, crazy. Doing my research a little bit on Dan Patch to look at more of his career, right? We talked about all the races that he had. And his owner, Dan Patch, died on July 11th. His owner died the following day.
Oh my goodness. That's quite the stat. That's a deep dive. It's going to be 11 veteran horses that are going to be representing the field here for this Grade 1, and here's plenty more about the Dan Patch Stakes.
Top of the stretch, and they're on their way home in the Adios. It's Twisted Destiny fighting to hang on, sipping on Sea Rock. Prince Hal Hanover to the inside. Rick Wink needs room. Swingtown kicks it into gear late. Inside Prince Hal Hanover. Prince Hal Hanover wins the Adios in 1:48-1.
And that was a look at the Adios pace. That was in 2025, so last year. And Prince Hal Hanover, trained by Dr. Ian Moore, and off of this victory, it was a little while back, but back to this performance. You like Prince Hal Hanover a little bit today?
I do. I mean, he's a model of consistency. Look at his resume, right? I don't know if I necessarily trust him on the win honors or how short I would want to go in terms of the odds on him, because we have seen him come up a little bit short where he's been second best. But he is taking some betting support a little bit at this time off the 7-1 morning line, currently at 6-1. I think he's a fair price.
Let's hear more about Prince Hal Hanover. Gabe Pruitt got a chance to catch up with Dr. Ian Moore.
Thanks so much, guys. Standing by with trainer Dr. Ian Moore of Prince Hal Hanover. And Prince Hal's a little keyed up behind us, Doc.
I hope he is. It's time to go. He knows that.
And he comes off a nice runner-up performance there last out at the Meadowlands. The Sam McKee just missed. What'd you make of that performance?
I raced really well, and people think that he needs to be on the front, but he can race from anywhere, this guy. He's raced on the outside parked. He's raced from behind and on the front. He's been super consistent for us. He's been a beautiful horse, and he's rapidly developed into one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, he's made nearly $1.5 million. That doesn't hurt either. Went on quite the ride last year. Of course, took one of the signature events in the sport with the Adios.
Yeah, he was really good that day. I didn't make it there that day, so Joe Tolino, his groom, who travels with him all the time, he made sure everything was good, and I watched on TV at home. Couldn't make it. The weather.
Well done, Joe, on that occasion. And Doc, you're no stranger here at Hoosier Park. Actually picked up your first ever Breeders' Crown win here in 2020 with Century Pharaoh. Take us back to that special moment here at Hoosier.
Well, that was a special moment. Century Pharaoh was he was a great horse. He started out slow as a 2-year-old. He raced grassroots in Ontario, which is second level in the stake program. And then as a 3-year-old, he started to really develop, but he got his best as a 4- and 5-year-old. And I have a couple of his babies now, too, and they're like him, but he's not going to get a whole lot of chance as a stallion because he hasn't bred that many mares. But he was a super horse, and we loved him, and he did well here.
All right, well, best of luck here with Prince Hal Hanover, looking to bank a big one in the feature night. It's coming up next, the $300,000 Dan Patch Stakes. We'll send it back to you guys.
Dr. Ian Moore there, and thank you to Gabe Pruitt. And talking about more recent effort for Prince Hal Hanover, this was last week in the McKee Memorial. A second-place finish. What did you take from this effort, Ashley?
I thought this was a pretty big late move in terms of his final panel, 26-1, and he's just full of steam here. I know he comes up a little bit short behind a very talented horse, but I don't think the draw necessarily helped him or hurt him that night, which I think, speaking to Dr. Moore's point here, he is handy. If Todd McCarthy feels like they need to go early, he can do that. They don't have to. So I mentioned it. I don't know if I trust him on the top spot, but I think with his tactics and the way that he could be used here, I would have to use him in the exotics.
Yeah, By the Missile finishing third in that race. So we just saw, and taking a look at the paddock right now as we get set for this Grade 1 at $300,000. And I will say, everything's kind of close up there at Harris Hoosier. When you take a look at Gabe being able to access the trainers, I mean, everybody's kind of right there, and it's exciting for a Grade 1 caliber type race.
Absolutely. I think that's huge in the sport, right? Accessibility and just looking at this view of the paddock. I like it. Sometimes you're underneath, kind of close quarters. There it seems like it's actually pretty open where they are now.
Yeah, very familiar with each other, I'm sure, too. And the highest earners in the Dan Patch by the Missile, approaching $3 million in earnings. Little Rocket Man is, well over $2 million. I mean, when you start seeing the $1 million in earnings, these are quality, top-notch horses that have been doing it the consistent way in harness racing, but almost $15 million in total earnings in this entire field.
And earnings played an important role, in the assembly of this field tonight, because they were based on purse earners, the 10 of them. And then there was obviously the addition of Crackshot. He was the 11th. He was given an invitation by Hoosier. So kind of looking at this, the thing that is just kind of insane, not only the earners in here, but you talked about to break $1 million in earnings is tough to do. To break $2 million is very difficult, and a Little Rocket Man, he's the old man in the field at the age of 10. He comes in here off a win, but 87 trips to the winner's circle in terms of Indiana-sired pacers, Chris. He's the third to go over $2 million.
Yeah, and I'm talking about veteran horses, but we've got a lot of 4-year-olds in this race, and from a wagering standpoint, it continues to just really go back and forth, and you're going to see a bit more pageantry here as the horses will be coming onto the track here for the Dan Patch and a field of 11. But do you look at the odds board for a Grade 1 field like this, because you still have a little time to wager, getting close to the 13th, but are you looking at the numbers and saying, wow, these are some evenly matched horses. If I'm going to get 10-1, I got to be involved here?
Somewhat. I think for me, it's also adjusting how I would wager, right? And trying to figure out, am I going to play something a little bit heavier handed? Am I going to stray away from some sort of exotic to gravitate towards another? This is just how the race felt on paper looking at it. It was so difficult to go through, but that's what's going to make it a very exciting race here in just a couple of minutes. I still don't know who's going to go off favorite. Right now, we have a new favorite, and it's Captain Optimistic.
Great job there at Hoosier Park as you get the call to post, and we've got a post parade coming up. It's race number 13. It's $300,000, and it's the 10-year-old Little Rocket Man.
A very cool racehorse. Big fan of his. I am curious to see how he'll race from a more inner draw, being on the pylons, because typically he's been a little further out, but no stranger to Hoosier Park, as he's been in the winner's circle here 62 times. He's a very fair price on the board at 10-1.
The 2 will be coming up here in just a moment, but it's going to be Doug McNair is going to have Crackshot here at 13-1. 2 wins in the last 2 efforts, and you do see 33 lifetime efforts is over $600,000 in earnings. This Little Rocket Man's just getting a little extra camera time here for the 10-year-old. I mean, deserves it.
And that's what they typically do on the big nights, right? They make it more of a showcase. They parade them. They give them their time. Now here is Crackshot, who you mentioned has those back-to-back victories. They were up at Woodbine Mohawk in the open ranks. The concern for me would be you kind of put him against the heavier hitters, 3 and 4 back. He wasn't as competitive, and the waters are deep tonight.
Part of the brigade there is By the Missile, Ronnie Wren Jr., and I've been hearing By the Missile quite a bit this evening. It seems like a big shot here in tonight's 13th. There's the 4.
Dandy Ideal off the 3-1 morning line, a 20-time winner, one of the 4-year-olds in the field. He's been impressive this year so far. He stepped up a little bit, 3 back. He had the qualifier. He was able to win last time out. Here's the number 5, Coach Stefanos, who's been a little bit short in those last few, but another one that certainly has the talent, as he is a Breeders' Crown Open Pace winner.
I do feel like Nancy Tactor really shows up on these big nights, and this might be the one here in the 6, Captain Optimistic. She's got the right driver that will be aboard here in just a moment, but Captain Optimistic at 5-2. Maybe we're seeing a little bit heavier action because Dexter has been, with the hot hand 3 wins on the night already, but we'll see if that 5-2 price holds. There's a 7.
Yeah, the 7 in here, Prince Hall Hanover. We spoke to, I should say but we saw Gabe out there speak to Dr. Moore about his handiness and how he can be driven from wherever. Getting a good look now at the 8 Fallout. Another one in here for Ronnie Burke, who will certainly need to step it up. Have to go a couple back to find a win.
There's Harrisburg Heist. It's going to be Yannick Gingras and Ron Burke teaming up 25-1. maybe has some speed. We'll see where this horse is placed early. There is the 10, John DeLong, hunting the last dollar, 55-1. Biggest shot on the board? Yeah, biggest shot on the board there in the 10. And you've got the 11.
And the 11, Woman Layer, going to round it off, fresh off the win. We saw a big price last time out at the Big M. Prior to that, raced well from post 7 at the Meadows. Interesting horse, I think, in terms of the exotics. You have to remember here, when you're looking at this field of 11, the 10 and the 11 start from the second tier, which sometimes works against horses, or I'm in the opinion of if the horses in front of them have some gate speed, it might not be the end of the world.
Over $14 million in career earnings, entire field. It's race 13. Let's go to Gabe and Jess with more.
Thanks so much, Chris. A very competitive field of 11 here, Gabe. But first and foremost, you enter into the race and the top money earners get in, and then Hoosier Park has an option to invite a horse. And you guys opted to invite Crackshot this year.
Yes, Crackshot's going to start from post 2. He's coming off a couple of invitational wins up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. We're going to take a look at a couple of these starts back. Greg McNair, the trader, his son Doug McNair, one of the top drivers there on the WEG circuit north of the border. He's going to be in the bike, and you're going to see Crackshot here. Big favorite there, 1-5 last out, but he is going to deliver it again. The officials here took a good long look at this race and decided amongst the contenders here that he deserved that last special invitation here to the big dance today.
Yeah, this is going to be the Dan Patch debut for son Doug McNair, and the second appearance in the Dan Patch for trainer Greg McNair. This guy, he's a little guy, but he sure does have a big engine. As you can see him steam rolling there to get the job done. 149 and 226 flat on the end of it there. And of course, he's a 2025 O'Brien Award winner as well, Gabe. So he's got plenty to his accreditation as well. And he's obviously going to go into the race maybe a little bit of a longer shot. He's 12-1 on the board right now. And I heard Ashley and Chris talking about it. Didn't quite know who the favorite was going to be. Right now, that is Captain Optimistic. He's 5-2 on the board. And Nancy Tactor, she's going to make her patch debut. And her dad won it twice. And Dexter's going to look to become the first driver to win it 3 times. Now, Captain Optimistic, he is a perfect 1-for-1 here in his career. He won the Monument Circle last year. I talked to Nancy Tactor earlier on in the night. The biggest difference from 3 to 4 with this guy is he's manageable on the track. They can steer him a bit better. So she's excited to have Dex back in the bike. Of course, sorry for Scotty, who's out on injury. But Dex has driven this guy before.
I'll tell you one thing. It's good that he's manageable on the track, Jess, because he was not very manageable here in the paddock. These horses right behind us. And you want to talk about a fire-breathing dragon. Captain Optimistic, he was giving his handlers just a tussle. He is 5-2 on the board right now. You see the slight favorite in this spot tonight. They actually had to take him to the outside stall. Turns out, well, he doesn't like company either.
No, he doesn't either. And probably just the commotion of the track. You can see, obviously, that these are athletes and they know when it's game time. So they'd opted to take him a little bit further away from the track just so he could calm down a bit as well. Let's talk about our top choice in here. That's By the Missile from the sport's all-time leading trainer, Ron Burke. He's looking for his 3rd win of his 7-year-old campaign. Gabe, he's coming off of, to me, what has been the most impressive efforts as of late. He was a winner here at Hoosier Park in 2023 and 2022. Burke looks to become the first trainer to win the patch 3 times. And By the Missile, he's won the Little Brown Jug, the Millscene, the Adios, and this is going to be driver Ronnie Wren Jr.'s debut in the patch. And I said it earlier, I think Ronnie's a very aggressive driver, but I also think he's very tactical as well.
I think this is a spot where he might be tactical from post 3, Jess. I think, you put 2 horses in the second tier, as Chris and Ashley were just discussing. One thing to keep in mind, 2 of the last 3 years, horses have won out of the second tier here at the Dan Patch. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But you got those 2 trailers, numbers 10 and 11. So if you've got any speed, you really want to get out there and get some position. So I think we could see a host of levers here, possibly from the outside, and that's really going to quicken that pace scenario. I think it could set up perfectly for a horse like By the Missile. He does his most best work off the pace. In fact, he pulled up a 57-1 upset from last, just 2 starts back. So I think the race could really set up in his favor. Ron Burke, he's been in 17 out of the last 18 editions of the Dan Patch. He missed only 2024.
And here's just 1 week ago. You see Woman Layer, he steamrolls first over in an aggressive steer there. I think it was the Captain Optimistic on the front end. But Woman Layer, he prevailed at the Meadowlands last week, taking on the best of the best in the country in that open division. 148 and 226 flat on the end of his mile, Gabe. And he was a nice winner at 17-1. he's going to have to overcome that back tier post 11. And I think the biggest, maybe not issue, but tactical thing you got to do when there's 1-2 trailers and being a trailer in general is you can't get in too much traffic trouble and heading into that first turn.
That's the truth. Again, it's a little tricky. You know, obviously you can't leave the gates. You're sort of forced to take back. He's never been over the Hoosier Park track either. So he's never been over this, the longest stretch in harness racing, as we chatted about a little bit earlier, over 1,250 feet here. Wimmenler's trader, Virgil Morgan Jr., he's the second all-time leading trader of the sport. He's trying to snap the longest streak here in between wins. He won the Dan Patch in 2009 with the great Mr. Big, so it's been 17 years. He'd like to get back on the board here. Of course, his Hall of Fame driver, Dave Miller, the richest driver in the history of the sport. He's earned over $300 million in the Sulky.
There's a couple of hometown horses in here. The 1 Little Rocket Man and the 5 Coach Stefanos. He was a dead heat for second back in Patch 2024. He's a Breeders' Crown champ. He's won plenty of races here, but I guess we'll talk about Little Rocket Man. As you can see, he is number 5 with driver Kyle Wilflong. He angled him out there coming around that far turn. He's going to kind of draft here and just wait until he has clearance to eventually get up for the win last week.
Well, if you're pulling for the elder statesman, how about the 1 Little Rocket Man? He's by 3 years the oldest in this field. By the way, this race has been won by a 4-year-old 7 consecutive years. But Little Rocket Man, he's based here at Hoosier Park, loves this track. He's taking his record 5th attempt at the Dan Patch tonight. He's earned over $2 million in his career. Actually, last season, Jesh, he was set off as the 5-2 favorite in this at the age of 9, but he finished ultimately a disappointing 8th. Out of those 5 starts, he's had just a couple of 4th place finishes to show for it.
It's a wide open race. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be exciting when it's the Grade 1 Dan Patch for $300,000 here at Harrah's Hoosier Park. We'll send it back to you guys.
Race number 13 is coming up here. And Ashley, I was talking about how wide open it is. It could be favoritism back and forth. All 3 of our experts here like the 3 by the missile. Should this horse be maybe a shorter price at that 3-1?
No, I think it's fair, especially considering the fact that the big win 2 back, 57-1, failed as the favorite last time out, and it wasn't like he was a heavy favorite in that race back a week ago. I do think, though, we focused a little bit here on the shorter prices, which aren't that short, but from the price perspective, Jess and Gabe talked a little bit here about Little Rocket Man, the veteran in the field at the age of 10. We saw that replay. It also involved Coach Stefanos. I think when I see 15-1 on this horse, I know he hasn't been able to do it, and you probably don't like, or at least I don't necessarily love the fact that he makes the lead and he surrenders. But I do think he's a tricky horse to sometimes time when he's being, driven in these races, and sometimes he is moving like a freight train but kind of runs out of gas in the final stages. So I don't think I could get to him on the top spot in such a deep competitive event, but now 14-1 on the board. I think if you're looking at wagers such as the trifecta, the superfecta, he's a must-use in my opinion.
All right, you've heard it here. It's race number 13. It's post time. It's $300,000. The great Dan Patch, a Grade 1, a field of 11. Who's going to win it? We're going to find out right now. Track announcer Michael Chamberlain with the call of the Dan Patch.
And Captain Optimistic. Field is now lining up. And they're turning into the stretch. Here they come. They are off in the 33rd Dan Patch Stakes. Little Rocket Man and Crack Shot to the inside. From the far outside, Harrisburg. Heist is moving right up. By the Missile is forwardly positioned. Captain Optimistic to the outside there. Hunting the Last Dollar is down on the pylons. Dandy Ideal is in the middle of horses. And then up on the outside, Prince Hal Hanover. Women Lair comes next. Coach Stefanos is 10th and Fallout is 11th and last after a first quarter of 25-4. On the backstretch and By the Missile is the leader. Captain Optimistic is moving right right up on the outside. Harrisburg Heist is third. And then advancing on the outside is Dandy Ideal, as now Captain Optimistic takes the lead. By the Missile, Dandy Ideal is moving forwardly. On the outside as well, Prince Hal Hanover. Harrisburg Heist is down to the inside. Crack Shot and Women Lair are right together. The half miles on the board in 52 and 3. Dandy Ideal in front as Captain Optimistic is now dropped back to second. Prince Hal Hanover advancing on the outside of By the Missile. Women Lair looms second over out there. And then to the inside is Harrisburg Heist. Coach Stefanos is making progress. Crack Shot is dropping back. Fallout to the outside there. Then Hunting the Last Dollar and Little Rocket Man. They move into the stretch of the Dan Patch. 1:20:1 for 3/4. It's a blistering pace. And Dandy Ideal is 2 lengths in front. Captain Optimistic, Prince Hal Hanover, Women Lair, Coach Stefanos here on the far outside. By the Missile is to the inside, but Dandy Ideal just keeps on going. Dandy Ideal is 4 lengths in front. It's a Dan Patch domination for Dandy Ideal. Photo for second, Captain Optimistic and Prince Hal Hanover, and then Coach Stefanos, 1:47:2. That equals the stakes record.
Equaling a stakes record there. You see Tyler Buter, a Dandy Ideal, 4-year-old gelding by American Ideal. Pleasing fractions as you heard in the call, but pulling away late.
Oh my goodness, 25 and 4, 52 and 3, 120 and 1, 147 and 2, which equals his career mark, but that mark prior was at Pocono going on a 5-ace track. And just look at this horse. I mean, he's still cruising on the front. I thought he would get tired at some point, but that aggressive move certainly paid off. And there was a little bit of a mad scramble for the minors. You can see a photo there, as you mentioned, between the 6 and the 7. But Dandy Ideal, a 4-year-old son of American Ideal, was just dominating there throughout.
Yeah, with that long stretch run there at Hoosier Park, and you see all these $1 million, top horses that know how to pace and trot some of these horses down, but the 4 just could not be caught there. It was Dandy Ideal. All smiles there approaching the wire, and an impressive performance, and is going to earn that victory here with that $300,000 purse in Grade 1.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Tyler Buter is going to be over the moon. You mentioned the smiles. He was looking over. He's all by himself, and it's a very nice 4-year-old who is a millionaire, but you've kind of compare his season last year and this year. I feel like they've been patient with him and they've chose their spots, and this was a really great spot for him tonight to put his toes back in the deeper waters, and ended up being a decent price of 7-2. But you look at him so far this year, I mean, that qualifier and then last out, and look at this. He just keeps on getting better.
Let's go to Jess.
Thanks, guys. I have winning driver Tyler Buter. First words out of my mouth were, wow, Tyler, let's talk about the race first and foremost. A mad scramble going into the first turn with that overflow field of 11. You had to kind of wait your turn to make the lead.
Yeah, I mean, with the 2 trailers and so many good horses in one race, you never know what's going to happen. I was in a spot, I either had to follow some cover or just keep pushing towards the front, and I chose to keep pushing. He felt so good. And luckily it worked out.
He hasn't really had to face the top horses quite yet in his 4-year-old campaign. He has had success here last year as a 3-year-old. What were your thoughts on just that dominating performance, coming for home?
Yeah, look, halfway down the stretch, I hadn't even pulled his plugs yet, and I didn't hear anybody real close to me. So I was pretty confident. I pulled his plugs, and he found another gear.
Nice job. Tyler Buter, Hunter Oaks, they're going to team up here with Dandy Ideal. They're going to equal the stakes record here tonight, 147-2. Back to you guys.
Impressive performance there in the Dan Patch, and of course the number 4, Dandy Ideal, is just going to get all the praise, and deservedly so, because that was continued to be an impressive performance in that 147-2.
I feel like I need to watch the stretch one more time, because we talked about the length of it, but the fact that no one else could really get close after you see the half go up in 52 and 3 and then 120 and 1, it really is quite impressive.
Yeah, the audience and bettors had to be feeling the same way, right? Like when you get into the stretch and you say, this horse is going to come back, right? This horse is going to come back, just kept on going, extended out, and gets the victory, gets that Grade 1. Big performance from Dandy Ideal. We still got some more races towards the tail end of the card. It's America's Day at the Races on FS2.
This weekend, trainer Miguel Clement starts 7-year-old Belmont Gold Cup winner and 2026 Melbourne Cup qualifier Tawny Port.
It is the survival of the fittest, the Belmont Gold Cup. But it's Tawny Port coming away. Tawny Port wins it.
In a race named after his father, the late great Hall of Fame trainer Christophe Clement. Don't miss Saratoga's Christophe Clement Turf, a win and you're in challenge for the Breeders' Cup Turf. Fox Saratoga Saturday, presented by Oceania Cruises. Join us 3 Eastern on Fox.
Serving others is our foundation. That's why NYRA is building a pathway for businesses, individuals, and organizations to support charitable groups connected to horse racing in New York State and beyond. The NYRA Foundation, supporting our community.
Well, I think what My Racehorse does is it gives owners an opportunity to get involved in the game.
Very much enjoy sharing the barn visits and those big wins.
Straight no chaser in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
It allows everybody to come together to own a horse, whether you own a microfraction or you own 50%. It's the same feeling you get when they win.
I'm Dan Blacker.
I'm Safi Joseph Jr.
I'm Todd Fletcher, a trainer for My Racehorse.
Sees the grade, wins the Preakness.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Back here on FS2, it's America's Day at the Races, and one more look. Once again, a Dandy Ideal off of that performance deserves to go right into that winner's circle. Takes down $300,000. The Grade 1, a Dan Patch, and a very dominating performance. And we're going to take a look at the stretch run. And there were moments that we were both kind of taking a look at it, but Dandy Ideal just kept on going.
Yeah, kept on going. And looking at some others that I don't think necessarily raced their best tonight. By the Missile was forward off the gate and then sort of got a decent trip, but I just think being close to the action for so long probably was detrimental to his performance. We didn't see those horses from the second tier really get going at all, which Gabe pointed out. Sometimes it's worked out in this race. Tonight wasn't the case, and again, just very impressed with the winner here. I actually think, kind of looking at the other trips, I thought the runner-up as well, he raced quite well.
4, 7, 6, 5 was your full order of finish there in the Dan Patch. 147 and 2, equaling the track record there at Hoosier Park. And what a performance. Dandy Ideal wins it this evening, I should say. Race number 14 is coming up, and we're taking a look at an open 3, and you're going to have a field of 9 in here. And we do get a favorite at 4 to 5. Early on, Atlee Bender will have the 5, Dale Yeah.
And Dale Yeah is a interesting horse in terms of a couple of qualifiers that we've seen, but kind of looking at one of those qualifiers, the most recent one at the Red Mile, they just used him off the gate, and this is a very easy qualifier for him. I mean, it seemed like they had to tighten and ask him a little bit more. You can see that in comparison to the qualifier 7 days before, but talk about getting ready to roll. 25 and 4 for his final panel, and I still think it looks pretty easy, Chris.
And there is a look at Dale Yeah, who is your current favorite. Next up, we're going to take a look at Blaze On, who's towards the outside. Trace Tetrick will have the driving duties, and Blaze On at 3 to 1 is the 9. Going to be towards that outside. We've been talking about a field of 7 versus a field of 9. We can talk about that plenty more, but let's talk about this effort here on July 31st.
Thought it was a pretty big effort. He was favored in here, and he's gone off favored in those last 3, but he's been able to get the job done. It's been an interesting sort of, I guess, management for him, because we saw him in against non-winners of 7,500. He couldn't do it. Non-winners of 5,000, he does it. Then you can see he's taken a little bit of a step forward. He's had unideal draws in those efforts. I think he's going to have to work a little bit harder tonight, though, with post 9.
We'll reunite there with Trace Tetrick, who has the driving duties, the 9 post position. It's going to be race number 14, that 1 mile pace. And also, Gabe Pruitt, we're keeping track. He's still alive in his pick 4 ticket there. He's got the 1 and the 8, so still plenty more to keep an eye on, and with that $12 ticket from Gabe Pruitt, we'll see if he can close out that pick 4. We're sitting here at Saratoga. It's a beautiful evening, so come on back to America's Day at the Races.
The joy of traveling well is feeling at home, yet a million miles away from home. Discovering new flavors, or savoring the ones you already love. Not knowing what lies beyond the horizon, but knowing what matters most to you. This is the joy of traveling well. Oceania Cruises.
Back here on America's Day at the Races on FS2, and a good look there at Harris Hoosier Park, where we just saw the Dan Patch, and we've got a 1 mile pace coming up. We've got live tickets here from wagering standpoint, still so much more to go. And we got a post parade, race number 14, late double time. And there is the number 2 that's actually going to kick things off. And the 2 is Book the Fight. It's Jordan Ross with the driving duties.
Move to the number 3 here, Falcon, who's been second in those last 2 efforts, but different trips and different track. Those being at Oak Grove. He's a 5-time winner here at Hoosier, and it is worth noting, first-time Lasix.
There was the number 4 in Bikini Chaser, Dale Yeah. We talked about the favorite plenty, but Dale Yeah at Lee Bender 2-1 right now, so the price is floating up just a tad.
And in a moment, we'll see the 6 Play Me Rock, who's a little chilly on the board. An interesting horse, had back-to-back wins, kind of going up from the non-winners of 3,000 in the last 4 to non-winners of 7,500. Tried the Open last time out. I don't necessarily love that he had the inside. Obviously, the waters got very deep, but I'm not sure he liked having the inside draw that day. We're moving right now to the 8 Chamois, who came up a little bit short in that most recent.
I have the 8 on Gabe's ticket there at 32-1. Wow, Blaze On towards the far outside. Actually, the far outside. Trace Tetrick reuniting here, and one that has a big chance, of course, at 3-1. But we're going to take a look at some of the contenders in this race. But 9-5 Dale Yeah does seem to be imposing. Let's find out. Gabe and Jess, trackside, race 14.
I'm kind of shocked here, Gabe. I kind of thought maybe the 1 or the 9 would take more action. I see they are taking some action on the board, but Dahlia is the horse that's going to take a majority of the money right now, and I have a lot of questions for this guy. Obviously, we know he's got plenty of back class. He's a winner of over $360,000 lifetime, 14 of 55, but he just hasn't quite been on his game. He qualified very sharp down in Lexington, though, so not to take away from that.
Yeah, and I think this horse is a big overbet to a large degree here. Just, I'm going to try and toss him completely out.
Yeah.
This horse hasn't raced since early February. We're talking Valentine's Day time for the 5 Dahlia. Again, a couple of qualifiers recently, but it's just hard to produce, the race-type speed out of those. He is a talented horse. There's no question about that. But he's made nearly $400,000 as the 5-year-old. But with that missed time, and that's a long time off in any sport, particularly here in harness racing. These horses, fitness foundation is sort of the key with the standardbreds, maybe even opposed to the thoroughbreds a little bit. You talk about horses that usually race, 3 to 4 times a month, and we haven't seen this guy in 6 months. So that's a little concerning to me. It's certainly concerning enough for me to play against here as the 2-1 co-favorite at the moment.
All right, let's talk about your bomb of a choice in here, the 8 ShamWow. Walter Haynes Jr. teaming up with Brandon Bates. Big Ticket Bates is going to take over the lines this week. He was a winner 2 back at the non-winners at 5,000 level. Second last time out, just getting beat in that open 4 type of company, but he had that leading call in that opening panel from post 8. He's coming off of back-to-back bold numbers. He's going to have to figure out a way to get involved.
Don't think there's any question here that Brandon Bates is going to have to be aggressive with the bike. And this horse, when he gets back in form, he can be very, very good. 25-time winner. The majority of those right here at Hoosier Park. He's an Indiana sired horse. And Brandon Bates in the bike, that might be just the guy. He's they call him Big Ticket Bates for a reason. He is a long shot specialist as he just dipped below that 30-1 mark. But again, I think he'll be aggressive here. I think it's a horse that has been first, second his last couple of tries against the easier company. So it is a little bit of a step up here tonight. But I don't see anything that scares me away. Again, a lot of black class here for this guy. Well over $500,000 in his career. When he starts to get sharp, the 10-year-old seems to fire a few big races in a row, and I think he could be sitting on yet another big one here tonight.
I really like Tell Me About It from the rail here, Gabe. He's 2-1 on the board. Alvin Miller. David Miller, the Buckeye, the Hall of Famer. He's going to take over the driving lines tonight. A son of Tell It Like It Is. He's mainly raced here in the state of Indiana. He just recently won over $1 million lifetime. Week in, week out, year after year, this guy just puts up tough fight after tough fight.
Man, he just brings his lunch pail to the track and clocks in and does his work night and night, as you said, Jess. A classy horse here. Another 10-year-old. He's over $1 million. Draws that inside post. Same type class last time out here for this guy. That was a couple of weeks back. He tried the front end there. He was collared just by a neck right at the last step to the line. So, again, a lot of class here from Tell Me About It. Good post here, post number 1. I think sounds about right at 5-2. I did try him there to be close in this one as well.
And then what about the 9, Blaze On? He's 5-2 on the board. He's riding a 3-race win streak. Tyler George lost him 2 weeks ago, then claimed him back for 40, and now he's going to have to deal with post 9. But he's got plenty of speed to get him involved.
He does have plenty of speed, but when you're talking about post 9, it can be pretty hard to get out of there. And the thing is, even post 8, the long shot like your ShamWow, I don't mind to take a shot when you're going to be a huge price. But when you're going to be betting down to one of the favorites there, those outside posts, they can just take a lot of steam out of it. And this is a tougher spot. As you said, he was claimed for $40,000. That's against claiming company. This is sort of the open ranks. There are no horses here for a claiming tag. I can assure you the one we're looking at in the monitor, the Millionaire, they would not sell him for $40,000. So this is a much classier field. You get a difficult post here, the 4 outside. Top connections, our top trader Tyler George, our top driver Trace Tetrick here at Hoosier Park. But again, I just think overbet a sharp horse, but this is going to be a little tricky here, I think, from a very difficult starting slot.
A very classy field, like Gabe had just mentioned, of 9 heading to the gate for the Open 3 here at Harrah's Hoosier Park. Back to you guys for final thoughts.
Ashley, we've got a field of 9 in here, and you like the number 1, and tell me about it. But as we're getting closer and closer to post time, you got the 5-2. Anything else jumping out to you here from a handicapping standpoint?
Not really. I do think the betting public has these 3 tabbed correctly. I just keep on looking at the 9 a little bit, Blaze On, and I do get a little nervous. Trace Tetrick had options here, and this is the horse that he opted for. And I think bringing up the point that Gabe mentioned, it's going to be rough. This is a horse that is going to have to be used from the gate. So as he drops down to 2-1, I'm with Gabe. I like the 1 that's on his ticket. The 8's there. I'd be okay leaving the 9 off here. The betting public now has him as the current favorite, but I think this is going to be pretty tough on him.
If the 9 does launch and gets right towards the front, do you think we're going to see a...
If he does it easy. If he does it easy, that's where I would start to panic. But if he is pressed and we see some big panels, the opening quarter or the half, then I'd feel a little bit better.
Time to see what's going to happen here. It's race number 14. It's the start of the late double. It's post time, and it's track announcer Michael Chamberlain with the call.
Race 14 lining up behind the Midwest Standard Bred horse sale starting gate. 2-1 on Dale Yeah and Blaze On. Here they come. They are up. Sham Wow starts well on the outside, but Tell Me About It is away nicely at the inside. It's Tell Me About It with that early lead. Sham Wow is moving up now to challenge that. And then racing third is Book the Fight. Dale Yeah gets away in fourth with Number Cruncher up on the outside fifth. As the horses move on the turn, down on the inside comes Bikini Chaser. And then moving next, Falcon. After Falcon comes Play Me Rock, and the early trailer is Blaze On through an opening quarter of 26 seconds. They move up the back stretch, and it is Tell Me About It, taking them right along. The veteran in front here, just over a length. Next in second is Book the Fight. Sham Wow third. Dale Yeah is followed by Number Cruncher. Then Bikini Chaser. Falcon is on the outside of Play Me Rock. Blaze On still last through a half of 54 and 2. 28 and 2 the second quarter. Tell Me About It with the advantage moving on to the turn. Dale Yeah is chugging up on the outside. Book the Fight at the inside. Number Cruncher and Sham Wow are together. A gap of 2.5. Bikini Chaser, Play Me Rock, then Falcon and Blaze On. Head of the stretch, headed for home. Tell Me About It, trying to go all the way in front. Dale Yeah right there on the outside, though. Three-quarter time, 1:22 and 4. 28 and 2 the third quarter. It's Tell Me About It. Dale Yeah, Book the Fight has swung to the outside. Number Cruncher. Sham Wow is trying to rally up the pylons. Far outside is Bikini Chaser. Tell Me About It is in front by 2, coming down to the finish. Book the Fight taking second, but Tell Me About It gets it done. Book the Fight, and then Sham Wow, Bikini Chaser, I believe, up for fourth, 1:49 and 4.
It was the one, Tell Me About It. Dave Miller, forward trainer Al Miller, getting the job done, and good performance, but also him behind there. We were taking a look at the 8, who was down towards the inside, and that was Gabe's other horse on the ticket at 18-1. Was looking for some room, didn't get it, but nice performance from the 1 to get the victory.
Very nice performance from Tell Me About It. I thought it was a great drive here from Dave Miller, and there was a little bit of action. The 2 Book the Fight scooted out a little bit. That impacted the 7 Number Cruncher just a tad, but a very game placing there in the third spot from Sham Wow. You heard Gabe really liked this horse. He was 37-1. He goes off at 18-1. But just looking at the top 3 here, looks like we have, 3-1 over 34-1 over 18-1.
Oh, wow, indeed. That's going to be a nice trifecta coming back. And Tell Me About It from that inside draw. Quick, do the math. What's that going to pay?
Yeah, I'm not that good of a mathematician. But one other thing, Chris. Talked about it, the 9. The post did not work tonight, and Gabe was spot on there about thinking it could go the wrong way. Ended up going off with 2 horses at 2-1, but it looks like the 5 had a little bit more money, so it does appear that the 9 Blaze On was second choice.
And it isn't something that I've thought about much. It does look like we have an inquiry, so we'll find out what happened there with the inquiry when we come back here on FS2. We just saw the 14th. Tell Me About It. Just did. Got the victory on America's Day at the Races.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NyraBets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, play live money betting contests, and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. NyraBets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Racing returns to the brand new Belmont Park this September. Get paid to bring new horses to New York with the Big Apple bonus. Each horse can earn up to $8,500. Bonus eligibility based on the horse's prior start or workout location. Both new and existing owners and trainers are eligible. With overnight purses increasing this fall by 15%, there's never been a better time to race at Belmont Park. Take a bite out of the Big Apple bonus. For rules and eligibility requirements, visit NYRA.com/Big Apple bonus.
Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation was formed in 1940 with a simple goal: to raise funds for research to enhance the health and soundness of horses. Since then, we've provided millions of dollars to hundreds of projects at universities around the world, leading to major advances in welfare. Our process of selecting and producing peer-reviewed research has become the trusted industry standard. And with your help, we'll be here for many years to come, supporting the health and wellness of all horses.
America's #1 sale for New York's finest yearlings. Recent top performers include Grade 1 winning grads Iron Orchard, Rhetorical, and Usha. Plus these 2025 New York bred champions. With an expansion of New York's purse parity program, there's never been a better time to own a New York bred. Fasig-Tipton New York bred yearlings, August 16th and 17th in Saratoga Springs, New York. Where will you be?
Back here on America's Day at the Races as we continue on this Friday evening, and big smiles there. Tell me about it. Into the winner's circle, Dave Miller, who you said is a wonderful, wonderful just human being. Great driver as well, but tell me about it. Gets the victory. Some action in behind, we'll talk about that, but tell me about it. Was just a little bit better than the rest here.
And you can see there's an inquiry. It's not going to affect the winner. Dave Miller and Tell Me About It, they're clear in front and just rolling here in the stretch. But we are going to see some movement in the stretch with a couple of horses. We saw the two sort of scooted out, Book the Fight, who is the unofficial second place finisher here. And that caused a little bit of a chain reaction where Number Cruncher as well scoots. So we do have the judges feed here, where we can get those different angles and see how these horses were affected.
There you see 4 different angles, and Ashley is looking at the, I mean, which one are you probably the head-on, right, is probably the one that you do take a look at quite a bit in here because we got a couple pan shots, but are you seeing anything? Is it that right there? Is that going to be enough to warrant any kind of change in the order of finish? And I think they just answered the question for us.
It did look that way, right? As you can see, the 2 is going to move over and shift. It does affect the 7 Number Cruncher. So you can see there's been a disqualification, and that leaves us with what? A Gabe Pruitt Exacta?
There's a Gabe Pruitt Exacta. It's going to be 1847 will now be the new unofficial order of finish. And 1847, Bikini Chaser is going to be moved up to 3rd, and that was still a big long shot there at 21-1. So if you like the 1, if you like the 8, put them underneath. You're gonna make some money in this race. But a big performance there again from the 1. I mean, we kind of continue to see it. They were talking about fast track, and the track was playing really fast. We've seen it be more kind of forwardly placed, the action more towards the front this evening.
I think for the most part, right? At least you had to be sort of, we would say, the top flight, maybe even just racing with some cover tonight. You didn't really see the horses from the back really make their moves here, but you didn't need the lead to win, that's for sure.
All right, Gabe Pruitt's a pick 4 ticket will continue on once race number 14 goes official. We still got one more, race number 15. It's break time. We'll be back in Anderson, Indiana, and right here at Saratoga. America's Day at the Races.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
As they come to the top of the stretch with Sweet Lou leading the way. At 3/4, 1:20-1. As they enter the stretch, it's Sweet Lou a length and a half. Better's Edge to the inside, follows along in second. Carol's Comet to the inside. And to the outside, Heston Blue Chip dropping back. Dancing Yankee moving up with less than an eighth of a mile to go. Here comes Better's Edge. Sweet Lou on the front. Better's Edge is coming to him with every stride. Sweet Lou, Better's Edge together at the wire in 1:47-2. It's Sweet Lou.
Very familiar connections, but that is the 2014 Dan Patch, and that was the winner in Sweet Lou, trained by Ron Burke. Told you it's a name that we recognize, and Sweet Lou, impressive throughout the career and impressive that day in 2014.
Big year in 2014, ended up being the Dan Patch Older Male Pacer of the Year, the U.S. Pacer of the Year. And a couple of years prior, he was the 2-year-old colt or gelding of the year back in 2011. So you look at what he did, he earned nearly $3.5 million in purse earnings, 33 trips to the winner's circle, 21 placings, and longevity, right? He was able to strike early as a 2-year-old and continue that into his older years.
And talk about his offspring, too. I mean, Sweet Lou's been very strong in the breeding show. You talk about Lou Print, you talk about Lou Adipa, just continues to send out, top-notch horse after top-notch horse. And when you're with Ron Burke, good things are going to happen.
Look at him. I remember looking at photos of him when he was racing. He was a very good-looking horse. I think he stamps those good looks and talent on his offspring as well. So nice that we see a race named after him tonight.
Yeah, he sires a few in here, and this is a race name for him. It's going to be the Sweet Lou, race 15, $20,000 purse. It's going to be the number 6 that we're going to take a look at first, 2-1. Lots of friends getting involved here with Chandler Bing.
And Chandler Bing found his friends just a week ago. He was able to rekindle some form that he certainly showed late in the fall of 2025, and thought it was a really nice drive. Wayne Miller just made a move quite early in this race and was able to command here through the long stretch. So in terms of the final time here, 1:49-1. I think it's a performance he can certainly build upon. And as I mentioned there is talent. We saw that on full display last year.
Lee Wayne Miller has the driving duties, and you do see that effort on August 7th. And Chandler Bing, it's the finale too. If you're a casual fan, the name stands out a little bit. I think the name stands out a little bit here. We are here in New York, the New York studio. It's Chris Griffin. It's Ashley Mayu, and it's break time. Let's go to a quick break, and we'll still have the 15th coming up, the Sweet Lou final here on America's Day at the Races. Come on back.
Dog days of summer are here. Corgi races have returned to the spa.
And they're off. Sam is out quickly, and he is flying on the outside. Here's the finish.
Saratoga's second annual Corgi Cup. Join us Sunday, 1 Eastern on FS1.
This is the joy of traveling well. Oceana Cruises.
Enjoy an exclusive visit to a local breeding or aftercare farm with an all-inclusive package featuring breakfast at Saratoga and admission to Saratoga Racecourse. Your visit to a local thoroughbred farm includes an expert-run guided tour and chance to meet the residents up close. Perfect for both longtime fans and families, tours run weekly and include a morning breakfast buffet, round-trip transportation, and tickets to the track. Visit NYRA.com/tours to book today.
A provision in a bill passed last year reduced the tax deduction for gambling losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change raises taxes on horse players, hurts our great sport, and will cost thousands of jobs in our industry. That's why the NTRA is working to pass the Wager Act, a bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
Call to post there for race number 15, the 15th and final there at Harris Hoosier Park. The end of Gabe Pruitt's ticket in that pick 4. Round Here Buzz is the number 1 at 11-1, is passing on by here. We're going to have quite a few long shots. And John DeLong's got Steely Knife at 25-1. A couple third place finished in the last couple starts. And that takes us to another big long shot there in the 3.
Yeah, you're Rambo coming up next. Third, 2 back, but disappointed last time out. And you see all of the common names. Chandler Bing, Naturally Gifted, Round Here Buzz. So I don't know what's going to be different tonight. Here's Henry the Horse. He's raced well in those most recent efforts. I actually didn't mind when we look at that race a week ago how he performed.
And there is the number 5 in Naturally Gifted, Kyle Wolfong, Ken Rucker. They're going to team up. Chandler Bing now down to 7-5 here. So Chandler Bing is taking all the action, is on Gabe Pruitt's ticket.
The 7 Class Factor. Dave Miller will try to take, I guess, the late double with the win in the 14. This is a horse that doesn't have a ton of gate speed, tries to roll late, has been able to pick up the minors in those last 2. Here's the 8 Combustion, 8-5 off the 7-2 morning line.
Yeah, another one on Gabe Pruitt's ticket there. Dreaming of Lou is one of the ones sired by Sweet Lou, the Sweet Lou final, and a big price at 31-1. Sure Thing Herman and Atlee Bender at 41-1, and far outside.
And these will be second tier. So Sure Thing Herman and ER Rookie. I feel a little bit bad for them because they're horses that aren't necessarily the quickest off the gate. And I do think they're going to be trip compromised from the second tier. I think that's why the bettors are sort of staying away from them at this point.
Let's go back trackside with Gabe and Jess.
Another good one on tap here, Gabe. A full overflow field of 11 to close out Dan Patch night. And I'm on board with a long shot in here. I know that you like a horse that starts from the outside of the gate. We'll start with that one, Combustion from the Ron Burke barn. Added Lasix there a handful of starts ago. He has Trace Tetrick back aboard. He's driven him a couple of times. He's coming off a really nice win at a similar level.
Yeah, it really is. And this is a horse that when he first arrived a couple of months back at Hoosier Park, Jess, he actually beat the top class of horses here. This far from the top class. Still pretty good group here with $20,000 in the line. So comes off a convincing win in his elimination. We had a couple of these eliminations for this little final tonight. And that was a convincing win. He just cruised home. Good connections here. Trace Tetrick drives for the sport's all-time leading trader Ron Burke, and I think all of that adding up to a little bit of a short price here at the moment, just 8-5 there as we take a look at Combustion with that yellow hood.
I know you don't use this horse at all in your business, but I want your opinion on him. Steely Knife from post 2. He's 22-1 on the board right now. He's rattled off 3 bold numbers in a row. He's exiting that same elimination race as Combustion. He's got post advantage on him tonight. I know he hasn't punched through in a while, but I feel like he's sitting on a big mile.
Horse, I think that the stretch for a win, it would be a little difficult, Jess. I just think he's a horse that could track, though, with a good trip. I think he could be close. Keep in mind this is a 20-cent super high 5. So, you sort of have to really take a good long look at horses, can finish in the bottom part of that ticket, whether it be 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I think he's certainly in the mix for a minor share. He's been okay of late, but I think he'll need to really step up here. But I like your style. Double deuces in the nightcap. That would make up for a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, sure would. Second favorite, or second choice on the board, 8-5 on the 6th as well. Naturally Gifted. Ken Rucker, Kyle Wilfong teaming up with this guy. He's coming off a 3rd place finish. He's going to exit a different elimination race, but he's been facing some really tough horses. MM's Bud and the likes of horses like that, Sanday. So he finally got to take a little bit of a class drop last time out, and I think that will help him in the long run.
Yeah, I think it will as well. And this is a horse, a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. Jess at 2-3. He's a 4-year-old now. The 6 Chandler Bing at 2-3. It's a horse that made well over $350,000 here in the state of Indiana. But his 4-year-old campaign, he was 0-5 heading into last week. It was a dip in class here last week, as you said, but he cruised home crushed. He sort of looked like that old Chandler Bing. So the question is, was that a confidence booster? Is he ready to continue to step in the right direction? I think maybe so. That was a little bit of an eye-opening performance here and a good step back. He could be back on the tracks here, again, after after a little bit disappointing start to his 2026 campaign.
And look who trains him, Alvin Miller. He already has a training double on the night. And another son of Tell It Like It Is. He just clicked over. Oh, now he's second choice again at 9 to 5. 7 to 2 on the 5, Naturally Gifted. He's another one who probably appreciated the drop in class last week.
Yeah, he did. Nice runner-up performance there to the horse we were just talking about, the 6 Chandler Bing. Rallied nicely. He's versatile sort. He can duck off the gate. He can push off the wings a little bit. He's a son of Sweet Lou. So if you're looking for a hunch play, this, of course, named after Sweet Lou. This final here in race 15, we'll see if he can get it done. Most successful post here at Hoosier Park. Post 5 wins it nearly 20%. Good barn here, trainer Ken Rucker. He's been around a long time. And, of course, conditions the great Little Rocket Man that we saw earlier in that feature, Dan Patch.
Field of 11, Overflow Field of 11 to close out the night. $20,000 on the line for the Sweet Lou final. We'll send it back to the desk for final thoughts before the finale.
Thanks so much, guys, as we do get set for this 15th and final race in a full field of 11. And on big nights like this, it's always good to see those big full fields. And Indiana, Anderson, Indiana, and Harris Hoosier Park, they've really shown just top class, and they continue to just really excel with a great racing product right now. And here in the finale, the 6 and the 8 are taking all the action. The 5 will hold some intrigue, and Gabe also throwing in that stat of the 5 post position being very, very strong there at Hoosier Park.
And I like the 5 Naturally Gifted. When I looked at the way this race might set up and now factor in the way the races have been playing tonight, I do wonder if there's a situation where a couple of horses hook early and a horse like Naturally Gifted is going to have a jump on the horses that are usually, really doing their best work from the back, and they're doing it late. And I just feel like Kyle Wilfong has a horse that he's handy enough to be placed and maybe get some cover and make that move. So as long as he can build upon that race from just a week ago, I think he's a major player in here. The one thing I didn't necessarily love about him, 1 for 13 at Hoosier, so he's got 19 wins elsewhere, but at least he does seem like he took a step forward last out.
6 to 5 right now on 6 Chandler Bing, the 8 Combustion Trace Tetrick. They're sitting at 9 to 5, and then we talked about the 5. Any long shots to maybe sneak into the trifecta? I mean, there's prices everywhere outside of the couple favorites.
So Jess mentioned the 2. I would look a little bit to the 7. Class Factor was 10 to 1 on the morning line, 35 to 1 on the tote. I could never get to this horse on the top spot, not just for the fact that he's 1 for 14 this year, but he just is so far back and at a disadvantage. But we saw it in some of the races tonight or earlier. We were able to observe horses that at least could sneak into the bottom of something. And you can see here you can get involved, whether that be the try or you have the Hoosier High 5. That'd be one to toss in.
Gabe Pruitt trying to close out that pick 4 as well. He's got the 6 and the 8. He's got both favorites in here to close things out in the 15th and final. It's been a fast main track all evening long, and we got a field of 11 that will close things out. And it's been just really good racing overall, and some value and some really top performances, especially Dandy Ideal.
Fun night of racing. I love that they paid tribute to Dan Patch, his connections, some of the greats in the sport in general outside of Dan Patch, the Rock and Nola in terms of horses in Indiana. I just think it was a nice way to honor everyone and give some spotlight to Hoosier Park.
All right, let's close things out here for this Friday evening. America's Day at the Races. Michael Chamberlain, one more time, the 15th, the Sweet Lou final. There at Harris Hoosier.
Midwest Standard Bred Horse Sale starting gate on the move for the 15th and final race tonight. $10,000 the guarantee on the Hoosier High 5, 7 to 5 on Chandler Bing. Field now turning into the stretch. Here they come. They are off. Naturally Gifted in the center, moving up. Round here, Buzz at the inside. Combustion moves up from the outside. Then it's Henry the Horse. Steely Knife is 5th. Chandler Bing 6th with Sure Thing Herman and ER Rookie right together. The 2 horses from the second tier are right together, 7th and 8th. 9th is ER Rambo, and then racing 10th. Class Factor, Dreaming of Lou Trails, following a quarter of 26 and 2. Combustion is the leader, just over a length better than Naturally Gifted. To the inside is Round Here Buzz. On the outside, Henry the Horse. Chandler Bing is also wide, moving up the backstretch. Steely Knife, then ER Rookie. Next is Sure Thing Herman at the inside. Advancing up on the outside is Class Factor, ER Rambo, and the trailer is Dreaming of Lou. The half mile on the board in 54-1. Combustion and Trace Tetrick leading the way onto the turn. Naturally Gifted, Henry the Horse. Round Here Buzz is down to the inside. And next is Chandler Bing with Steely Knife. After that comes ER Rookie, and going on a break at the back of the field on a break was Dreaming of Lou. They're approaching the top of the stretch, and Combustion's got a 2.5 length lead. Second is Naturally Gifted. Chandler Bing had to swing 3 wide off the turn to try and move up. 1:22.1 for the third quarter of 28 seconds. It's Combustion, Naturally Gifted, Round Here Buzz to the outside, Chandler Bing, and then to the inside is Steely Knife. Combustion, Naturally Gifted, Round Here Buzz is third, then Chandler Bing, Naturally Gifted coming on to take the lead late, and Naturally Gifted is the winner. Second, I believe Round Here Buzz did get up for second over Combustion, then Chandler Bing and Steely Knife in 1:49.3.
What a solid performance there. Gabe. Combustion handled aggressively by Tetrick off of the gate to get the lead from post one. Chandler Bing, he had to work hard for that effort too, because he was on the outside of the mile. Naturally Gifted, well, he benefited from a perfect pocket trip.
Yeah, lots of traffic during that outer flow, so it never really got rolling to any large extent. Combustion, again, just got tagged right here at the light. Naturally Gifted got that perfect trip. Standardbridge by nature, they like to draft along as long as possible. They're not really doing that much work when they're drafting. He got to slide out late off that perfect trip and get up to get it done.
Yeah, nice effort there by him, and nice efforts all around. Great performances tonight, of course, for that Grade 1 $300,000 Dan Patch Stakes going to Dandy Ideal.
Yeah, that was just an incredible effort because he put up, he did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
He was on the business end of those quick fractions here, the feature tonight. Lived to tell about the open length win in an impressive renewal of the Dan Patch.
When I was walking up to Tyler Buter, we both said, wow. So that's what he thought of that performance as well. I hope you guys as well enjoyed tonight, Chris and Ashley.
Oh, we definitely did. Thanks, Gabe. Thanks, Jess. A tremendous evening, and we talk about the different performances. Anything stand out to you outside of Dandy Ideal?
I have to go with my other horse, right? Captain Artur Revico.
That's
I thought
true.
was very impressive. But obviously the standout was Dandy Ideal, 147-2. Gabe and Jess talked about it. He did the heavy lifting and was much the best, and looking forward to seeing what else he does with his 4-year-old season.
Tremendous job there by Harris Hoosier Park, and tremendous job by you, the fans out there, as you were following us all evening long. Ashley Mayu, great job as well. Hope you enjoyed all the great action. We've got plenty more coming up throughout the season. And we saw some great performances here tonight on America's Day at the Races. Dandy Ideal, among many others. The next show will be right here, Saratoga Live. That's tomorrow, 12:30 to 7 p.m. Check your local listings. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on America's Day at the Races for more harness racing action.